I want to register one thing. You have heard people say that the consulate. Yes, please, that's what we need. All Kenyans in Minnesota, that's what we need here. So on behalf of Kenyans in Minnesota, now that you are in that government, our government, you are our representative and you are young, you cannot forget. And I know you are influential. You know we watch you. You are doing a good. You are doing good. Please don't forget us. We want a consulate here in Minnesota. Number one thing. Number two, I am wondering. Thank you. I'm wondering whether. Well, okay. Let me say this. About 4 years ago, when I was outside the country, in another country, we used to have commercial attaché, education attaché, legal attaché. I am wondering, do we have those in USA? This is a question that I want you guys to address. Do we have those, portfolios being represented here in the USA? Because, why am I saying this? We have never seen those people coming to all these other states to, showcase what they stand for. So I don't know whether when they are appointed, they are given this opportunity and they come here, whether they are working also, like we are working here, or they are doing their job. For example, here in Minnesota, this is where we have, most of the companies, like the Fortune 500 companies, like 3M is here, healthcare, scientific, very scientific, These are the people that can invest in Kenya. But do we have people who bring them here or wait?
Osoro, our Chief Whip, Majority Chief Whip, our Deputy Majority Leader, Hon Baya, Honorable Baya, Member of Parliament for Kilifi, Karibuni, Minnesota. I know there's a lot that you've had, but the bottom line, or rather the key thing, has been consulate. But I don't want you to live with that mindset, it's only consulate that Minnesotans want. We want a functioning government. And you've been granted an opportunity that we've been yearning, majority of us, and especially the young people, have been yearning leadership that we can see and follow and know that what you've started and the foundations that you've put, the young leaders can come and build on that foundation. One of the key things that I want to say and I want to talk about as I welcome them, and my job here actually is to welcome the Deputy Majority Leader so he can speak to you. And then after that, the Deputy Majority Leader will be inviting our Chief Whip to speak to you. And before I forget, CBS is the Deputy Majority Leader. He's also the Member of Parliament for Kilifi. He's been there for 2 terms. As well as previously, he was the Senator for Kilifi. He's a professor, he's a lecturer at Pwani University, as well as Kenyatta University. He's also been a student at Penn State. And what really, when I talked to him a little bit and he told me a little bit about himself, he's a diaspora. Yeah. He has worked here in diaspora in America, Little Rock, I believe, in Arkansas. So he understands it. So you can see, next to leadership, hapo karibu na mkubwa, raisi, we have people who are diasporans. So at this moment, tafadhali, wacha nikaribishe mheshimiwa. This is your moment. Begin makofi tafadhali kikuja. Mheshimiwa, welcome, speak to your people. And then mheshimiwa will invite mheshimiwa Soro. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. My name, like you've been told, is Owen Baya. I'm a Member of Parliament for Kilifi and Deputy Majority Leader in Parliament, or National Assembly specifically. And I am happy and glad to be here. Minnesota people are great people. We had a great reception here. I think we have a great team that accompanies us, and they've been feeding us a lot of food. Somebody told me here that the cold will not kill you here, but the food will. But I also want to thank each and all of you for coming here and honoring this invite, and also the organizers. I also want to say asante sana. But above all, I just want to say a few things. Like some said, I used to be a student at Pennsylvania State University. Some years ago, I came into the United States as a Fulbright student. And I worked in Little Rock, Arkansas at the Bill Clinton Foundation. I worked with Bill Clinton for some time, and then the allure of home came, and I went back to home to do some work. At that discussion here, everybody who is here somehow wants to go back home, isn't it? Yeah, but it is difficult to leave. But somehow I found it possible to leave because I had a landing. I worked in the county government of Kilifi, and then ran for Member of Parliament for Kilifi North. And yeah, here I am as Deputy Majority Leader. We push government business in Parliament. That is what our Majority Leader does. All government business that comes through us. We pass the laws, we pass the regulations, we push government business, we push the President's agenda in Parliament. And I can tell you for now, I think we have a 100% record. Government has not lost in Parliament, even when it looked like it would, but we have always managed to salvage it, including when one Penina Manonza was almost being sunk in Parliament, we salvaged her. So we've been very successful as the majority leadership in government. But that notwithstanding, who are we to you as diaspora people? I think that's a very important question. Who are we to you? The issues that you're talking about here are issues that require government intervention. There are two ways of doing it. One, through ministerial and executive orders. For example, if you want a consulate here, like you have been saying, the President or the Minister for Foreign Affairs can say, yes, let's give Minnesotans a consulate. But if it doesn't happen, you can also use Parliament to do the same thing. You only need a resolution of Parliament to say that we need to put a consulate in Minnesota, and it will happen. So if you see that the government process that you're using is taking too long, you can use Parliament to do that, and we can push it. We can push it as leadership in Parliament to actually achieve that. The second thing, which I was in the President's delegation when he came to the United States in March. If you remember, before he became President, we came to Washington. I was in that delegation, and we had some meeting somewhere, some town in a church in Washington, D.C. And one of the key issues that came out was diaspora remittances. And those who were there in that meeting, there was a young man, I can't remember his name, but there was a young man who presented made a very concise presentation on why diaspora and people there must be respected because of the amount of money that they send to the country. In this case, I think we are receiving around 400 billion, around 3% of the GDP is from diaspora. Right now, I think the biggest chunk, when coffee and tea, is not rivaling you. And that's why you're important to the government of Kenya. And that is why even that time, President William Ruto said he will make a ministry or a state department that will take care of diaspora affairs. So today, that has been fulfilled. We actually have a PS in charge of diaspora. Meaning, it is not just a PS, we have a whole state department in charge of diaspora affairs. And I think this is a plus for this government at this point. Now, if you have a ministry or a state Department for Diaspora, what is its role? All the affairs that require the attention of government from diaspora, you have a channel. What you need to do is to have what some say a good network. How do you reach that State Department so that the things that you want done can be done? I had a very interesting discussion this afternoon with Bill and Henry, and they told me that we have over, this state alone requires over 60,000 health workers that right now are being sourced from Philippines and some other countries. But in Kenya we have surplus of health workers and we have surplus labor because the economy in the country cannot absorb it. So when I came here and I was given those ideas, I said, yes, I must discuss this with the president because I think we have an opportunity to bring our young people who will have a job, bring up a family, earn some money, and send some of the money to the country and the economy in the country, the GDP grows. But this is something that the diaspora ministry should be informed, but how do they get to know this? You are the people who are here, you have the ideas, you can actually give us ideas to help the diaspora ministry be more useful to Kenya. I was told that good ideas run the world, but great ideas rule the world. So if you have ideas that can help run the country, and the President William Ruto, I could speak up for him. He's a person who admires and loves ideas. He's a president of ideas. But he's also not an island that is the only person that has those ideas. He can get from other people. So I expect as we engage on the Q&A, we'll be able to get what are the ideas that can make Kenya a great and a better country. What is it? What is your contribution? That contribution, probably you will not have the opportunity to meet the president and tell him, but you have an opportunity to meet me, give us the ideas, let us enrich the president's vision so that this country can move forward and become a great country. I would like also to speak a little bit about investment. I met several people when I went to the church, the SDA church today. I met several people who said, you know, I have a property in Kilifi. A lot. How many people there have properties in Kilifi? There are very many in the church. I don't know, there's only the Christians in the SDA who have properties in Kilifi. But everybody told me, I have a property in Kilifi, I am building a house, I bought land in Kilifi and all that. For me, that is something that I really appreciate. At least the little money that you have here, you take back home. And Kenya has a lot of opportunities for investments. And we want that money to grow our economy. Please, if you must buy a property, please buy it in Kilifi, buy it in Kilifi. So that we can grow the local economy there. And there are very many opportunities. Please, I remember President Kibaki, and you also see William Ruto's presidency is somehow tailored along what President Kibaki believed in. President Kibaki believed in FDI, the foreign direct investments. It grew the economy. We stopped borrowing for some time because Kibaki relied on foreign direct investment to grow the economy. Other people may shy away from investing in the country, but you are Kenyans. If you have an opportunity to invest in your country, please do. It will grow the economy. It will help you not to pay school fees for the child at home because the economy is helping someone there to get school fees. I don't know whether you understand me. You may not need to send money for healthcare because the investments you have made there has made the economy stronger so that healthcare is affordable. You may not have a problem when you go there with roads because you have made the economy there stronger and therefore the government can afford to build a road. So I want to urge you as countrymen to look at investing in your country so that we can grow the economy of the country, make it strong, and stop the reliance on China and that we have to always take loans from China and we are beholden to them and we can't make any decisions because we are deep into debt. I think this president has made it very clear that we don't want debt. We want to grow our economy and local resources, and everybody must pay tax, a fair share of their tax, so that we can grow the local economy. I want to end by saying this. I've heard here about Azimio and UDA. I was once the good lady here talks about how she cooked for Raila Odinga and all that. I was once a very good student and soldier of Raila Odinga. Actually, my first time in Parliament, I was an ODM MP. Then things happened and that now I'm a UDA MP. And there's nothing as good as democracy. Democracy is a beautiful thing. Everybody can have his ideas. The majority can have their way, and the minority can have their way. Whichever it is, they are. But what I want to say is time now to bring the country together, so that we grow the economy and help everybody out. So this week, we have seen the president in Luo Nyanza. I didn't know the Luo Nyanza would love William Ruto the way they did. They showed him love, respect. One of the people in that meeting was Oburu Odinga, who came to welcome President William Samoei Ruto. Oburu Odinga was there, isn't it?
Yes.
And all those luminaries of the Luo nation, they were there, and they say, apart from all those other things that I've prepared, William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. So, you know, I had someone say, you know, we are not in opposition. Even, you know, the country is a presidential system. And there's nobody who is opposition. Everybody is in government. That is what Kenya is. We only have minority and majority. Even the leader of minority in parliament, one Opio and I, drives a GK. GK is government of? See, he is part of the government. So we don't have opposition in the country, or we don't have, everybody is government. The only difference is they are minority and majority. But we all push government agenda. Even when we are in parliament, if we want something to pass as government or as majority, we approach the minority and they give us a support and government agenda passes. So I want to ask people here in Minnesota that still are hangover of ODM, of Azimio and UDA and Kenya Kwanza, please, it ended on the 9th of August. Right now we must build a united country, a united nation, and here in Minnesota we expect that we live that way. I want to end there and